Welcome back. Now, today is very important that you stay with me, and I want you to get the full understanding of my discussion today. I'm trying to get a full view that you'll understand and clearly understand me as I talk about today's subject, which is long term thinking. Long term thinking. Long term thinking will lead you to critical thinking. Critical thinking will allow you to release the inner tools that you have, such as analyzing. People don't understand the value of long thinking or long term thinking, which leads to critical, because I have to take the time and decide whether this is best for me on a long-term value. Anything short-term that you have received has already taken a long-term value stage. You just walked in on a short-term blessing or a short-term position. It was a value. The company needed a new president. The company needed a new principal. The company needed a new person. The company needed a new salesperson. The company needed what? Someone who were able to keep the company moving. Therefore, it was a short-term goal for the company to make that happen. And it was a short-term goal for you, but it was a long-term value of the company that allowed that to happen. It took a value of critical thinking for the company to continue to grow and view its analytical value, and taking the time and the pinpoints it takes to not just to analyze, but when you analyze, you go through the what's, the whens, the whys, the hows, and understanding how did this happen, how did that happen, how can I get from here, always using them W's to value the existence of critical thinking. And below, I'm going to give you a course in what it takes for critical thinking that I've also taken to liberty to go and research to find something so people could understand. And through my education, I was able to understand the value of critical thinking, that when I was going through, I know this could not be so. There has to be reason why this has happened. You begin to ask yourself, you begin to analyze, you begin to evaluate. And once you analyze, you will evaluate, and that will take you through the process of critical thinking. When did it happen? How did it happen? Why did it happen? How can I stop it? When can I stop it? Why was it so long? What is the value of the assets that allowed this to continue for so long? Or what is the non-value? Was it of non-value? Was it a rock, a purse? Or was it a person, a live person, which is a value? Non-value life is a rock. A rock doesn't become a value until it possesses its money or its value in its particular place. We don't possess our value until we get a critical thinking of what we are, and we possess our critical place. And it is very critical that you understand the value of these things. And people say, well, how was she able to do this and we did not see this? But it was critical for me to know what I had, the obstacles there, and I saw the obstacles, but yet I was making ties and understanding with people. And once I made them ties and understanding with people, it didn't matter what others would say, because I made my ties and my value with other people that would allow me to continue to grow on this critical thinking path. Where am I? Why am I? Why is this happening? Am I valuing myself around the wrong people? Am I going to the wrong places? Am I moving in the wrong direction? Should I sit for a minute? Critical thinking. Sometimes we don't always move. Sometimes you have to sit and allow things to happen so you can view things, and then you can later on take what you view and put into perspective, and once you put it to perspective, you're able to move forward with your critical thinking. What is best for me, so I can move forward to my critical thinking. This means in critical thinking that it is a benefit for not only the person, but also the wider society of individuals around them. So critical thinking is so important. And so I try to value my ways with critical thinking. Sometimes I have to sit back because I don't know all the answers. I may think I know all the answers, but I don't. And if I fall short in learning that the answer of what I think is not true, then I can humble myself and I can say, oh, I did not know this, but trust and believe there was something that got me to where understanding that it was close enough to get the answer that I needed, to the critical thinking, the value of what I needed to make an aspect and decision of what's best for me, so that I can value the things that I want to value. And then I take it and then I try to teach others, because I hate it when someone know a value of something and they see that you are a valuable person, but they don't want to give you that value that you're value and worth. But they want to receive the value from others. So how can you expect to see the values from others, but you don't want to give the value to other people? That becomes a misconception of understanding of what it is to critical thinking. Critical thinking means then we understand that men are greedy to the terms of when it comes to business. It's in our nature to be greedy. It's our nature to desire. It is in our nature to want what the other man have. It is in our nature to want better than what the other man have. But who are you to try to take from a man who don't have, than to try to take from a man who have, or that'll stand on your own 2 feet and have critical thinking and go get your own. It took critical thinking to do that. It's easy to go and just receive, but yet there's nothing wrong in receiving. But yet that was also a long-term goal of someone that needed to make sure they were on the value of making sure that the goal was of value. So long-term thinking is so important. In the long term, as I was going through, I still was preparing myself. I was getting my clothesline together. I was preparing businesses. I was doing things. I was getting in contact with certain people, certain aspects, getting certain lawyer team here, lawyer team there, know when to pull this lawyer out, when to pull that lawyer out, when to pull all the lawyers out. Those are the critical thinking. Those are the steps you have to make. But everything is perceptive. Everything takes time in what you perceive what is to be. And it takes critical thinking, and evaluating is the first step of your critical thinking. I have to evaluate. And once I evaluate, I have to process in what I evaluate. And once I process in what I evaluate, I can take it to a whole different level of not just evaluating and processing, but also you have to go and take insight to the necessities of what it is that you evaluated. That will only allow you to go further and deeper into understanding the critical minds of certain things that may happen by certain people or certain aspects, or just the critical mind of what took someone to produce a certain product that you may have to utilize, or a machine you may have to run. Critical thinking. You have to what? You have to, what is the first thing? You have to evaluate it. You have to. Then you got to process it. You got to observe it. That's 3 ways of thinking. Critical thinking. You have to take your time. You have to sit back. You have to evaluate. Then I process it. And once you process it, you can go deeper and deeper into that and what you need to do. And the process mean of processing. And you go back where you go, okay, now I evaluate it and I process it. What is the next step once I process it? Or once I evaluate it and I process it, and I keep going back and forth, understanding what the process mean is when I process something, what does it mean when I process it? When I evaluate it, what does it mean when I evaluate it? And once you go through them steps, then you can go further into detail of understanding what it just means to just not just sit back and evaluate and process, but then you got to analytically analyze the steps that it took to get to that process step, that evaluation step. Each step you got to analyze, because it's not going to be easy, because it determines what is best for you, for the outer you, and for the inner you. Because when there's outer change, there's also inner change. Because if you haven't changed your inside, how can you change your outside? Because they both are in harmony with each other and change. And so when you better you want to better others. And as you better you're not bettering you that you're better than others, but one day you will get to that level that whatever who you reaching, that you will reach another level of people who understand through what? Through evaluating, process, critical thinking, which it took evaluate and process. And I truly hope that you've taken the time to really look at this course that I have. I really took the time and told you I just don't want to just give you, because people have given me, and when they've given me knowledge, I was able to expand my knowledge and my way of understanding. And critical thinking only came in the education that I had, and knowing that it is better than this. This is not just it. I know this is not it. And as much as you may try to brainwash me into thinking this is it, I know this is not it. And it took further critical thinking and evaluating. It wasn't me, but it was you that was the issue. So then I was able to process and continue to move forward, to do what I need to do, to evaluate and to make sure through that process that I'm able to escalate forward. And that's what you want to do. You want to do your critical thinking. You want to evaluate, you want to process, and you want to escalate forward. And once you escalate forward, you're able to dominate. And once you dominate, you're able to let go. And that is the last step you want to do. You want to be able to what? You want to be able to evaluate, process. You want to be able to escalate to the next level. You want to be able to what? Once you escalate to the next level, you want to be able to dominate. You got to be a dominant individual. You got to dominate wherever you are. It may look like you're not dominating, but you are dominating, because you're not at where you used to be. If you look, you're totally different, and the things that you're doing is totally different, no matter than the value of what it took. What did it take? The value of many people who became homeless, who became of value through the process of homeless. And one day the homelessness succeeded itself. And yet there was a process, because there wasn't always homelessness, because you had to be somewhere to get the idea, to write it down, to escalate the idea. Once the idea was escalated, it was gone. It was taken. It was run away with. And it built. And that's what you do when you analyze it and to make it critical to understand it. So what is so important? Why have so much educated value in you that you are not able to escalate? And as you escalate, you learn more, and you learn more to articulate. And as you learn to articulate, the greater the audience that you are able to bring in. And yet you have bring in a greater audience, because they were able to understand you at that level. And each level that you rise, you go to a better choice of understanding. So I just want you to take this time and know that I value each day, and I value everything. I mean, the blessing is so great. Like, I think apartment shopping. I've been going apartment house shopping, and I've been blessed. People, I'm supposed to have moving somewhere. I'm supposed to have moving, but I didn't move. You know what I'm saying? Because I got better, but I want better. It don't matter what you see, but I know my opportunities, and those are my blessings. And so I can talk. I can talk. And I say, Lord, I can't believe this. How is it possible? I'm supposed to be moving into a place, call a place, but then I could make a decision I don't want to move in. And how many times have you gotten an apartment and you were so eager to move in? You know why? Because analytically, you have come to the decision to know that your self-worth is able to wait. I can wait if I want to. It's me. I can go a little further. That happened. I ain't thought I'd get that. I got that. Let me see how far it takes me. It may take you a little further, but you got to be able to understand the process of critical thinking. From evaluating. Once you evaluate, you process. And once you process, you got to be able to do analytical thinking that allows you to evaluate. And then you got to dominate. And once you dominate, you have to continue to let go. So continue to understand that critical thinking is so important. And I had a lot of critical thinking to do. And the process of, and yet you learn and you see, but the process and the thing that you mainly need to process is to sit back and look and view everything that's happening around you. Because everything that happens around you affects you, and everything and everyone or someone. But are you looking, are you able to, that way you can change your critical thinking to maybe it's affecting you in some way that you have to make some changes to be able to escalate to where you need to go. So those are the process, and those are the things that I just want to share. And I want to thank you, my viewers. I want to thank you. My views are going up on most of my channels. I appreciate that. I know it's going to take a long haul for it to give it. I said, if I get one view, I'm happy. And now I'm getting over 1 views. So that's good for me. And I appreciate y'all. And everything is a process. For everybody who at that chosen state, we all don't move up the same. Everybody moves up differently. No blessing is the same. Every blessing is different. The thing is, giving back. Always give back. Make it your ego and your goal to give back. And even if you have to go to the very place where you was made, remember, there's no change and there's no goal. And it's very important. Long term is very important. And more than investment when it comes to the investment of critical thinking. Long term is it. Until next time, I appreciate you. I hope to see you next time. And I have to go back. There's a video that I have to go back down to, but I'm doing a little more incentive and innovative, captive digging and research, and also may have a possible guest come by. So just bear with me and in tune with me, or even talk to us live or through another video chat. But other than that, I appreciate you and I thank you for all. And next time, stay blessed. Thank you.